over the corner are 10 Rastafarians, you know, and they kind of look over at us and they give us this real angry look, and I'm telling my friends, you know, maybe we're in the wrong spot. Perhaps we should take this as a signal and leave. And I'm telling you, we stand up, and all of a sudden, in unison, they start singing, "You got to know when to hold a man, know when," and they were the nicest guys.
Kenny's legacy. Even a 5-year-old knows who Kenny Rogers is. The signature silver hair and beard have had generations of kids, and some adults too, mistaking him for Santa Claus. The much-loved entertainer was not just adored by his fans, but was also loved dearly by his own children. Rogers left behind a legacy of country hits and 5 children when he passed away 4 years ago. The Grammy-winning country music star was married 5 times and had 5 kids with 4 of his wives. His oldest is Carole Lynn Rogers, now age 65, with Janice Gordon. His namesake, Kenny Rogers Jr., age 60, was born to Rogers and Margot Anderson, followed by Christopher Cody Rogers, aged 42, with Marianne Gordon. The family was rounded up with the twins Justin Charles Rogers and Jordan Edward Rogers, aged 20, with Wanda Miller. After earning countless accolades, including 3 Grammys and several ACMs, and a spot in the Country Music Hall of Fame, Rogers retired from music to focus on his family. The Gambler singer announced his retirement in 2015, saying, "I've done this long enough. I wrote in my book that sometimes there's a fine line between being driven and being selfish. And I think I crossed that line when I was younger," he continued. "I really want to be there with my kids and my wife. They're very important to me, and I don't see enough of them." He later clarified that he accomplished everything and more than I set out to do. Rogers added, "And I really need to spend some time with my boys. They're 11 now. I have 2 older boys. I didn't spend this time with them, and I regret it. I'm 77 now, and you don't know how much longer you're going to last." The singer added, "Will I miss the business? Absolutely. I'll miss the faces of the people that are out there and the laughs and smiles, but not as much as I would miss my boys. They're getting to that age." Rogers died at age 81 on March 21, 2020. His family said in a statement that he passed away peacefully at home from natural causes, under the care of hospice and surrounded by his family. On the 1-year anniversary of his death, his family released another statement. "It's so hard to believe it's been a year since Kenny left us. As you can imagine, some days are better than others. So we wholeheartedly thank you for your thoughts, prayers, and support over the last year. It means so much to us," the statement read. "The memories of Kenny and the kind words you've shared have inspired and uplifted us, brought tears to our eyes and made us laugh," it continued. "No matter what we're going through on any particular day, we know we will never stop missing him, and will forever celebrate the person he was and his extraordinary musical legacy." So let's get to know the 5 Rogers a little bit better. Rogers' firstborn child and only daughter is Carole Lynn Rogers, who was born on September 15, 1958, to Rogers and his then-wife Janice Gordon. Rogers was only 19 at the time of her birth. "I understood how girls got pregnant and that guys had an obligation when they did," Rogers wrote in his autobiography, referring to Gordon's surprise pregnancy. "When my Janice got pregnant, I was fully prepared to take the step into married life. It never occurred to me to walk away from the responsibility." However, Rogers and Gordon's relationship didn't last long. "You know what? I loved her," Rogers later said in 2012. "At 19, I thought, this is okay with me. That was a thing where her parents thought I'd ruined her life and were determined to break me. It didn't work, and it's really sad because I think it could have worked. You can't say I'm afraid of commitment. I've been married 5 times." The pair went their separate ways in 1960, and Rogers didn't see his daughter often as his music career began to take off. In 1980, Rogers was granted only 2 hours of weekly visitation with Carole. He eventually lost touch with Carole, and she was adopted by his ex-wife's second husband. During a 2012 interview, Rogers spoke about her, acknowledging that they did not keep in contact. That was my promise to them, that I would be her father, but he, his ex-wife's second husband, would be her dad, and I don't want to disrupt that, he said. He stepped in at a time that was really awkward for all of us, and he became her dad, and I love him for that. He was a good guy. In 1963, Rogers married Margot Gladys Anderson, his third wife, who was already a mom to a daughter named Shannon. Together, they had Kenny Rogers Jr., born on May 24, 1964. However, the couple divorced in 1975, and Anderson resettled in Palm Springs with Kenny Jr. In the years following their split, Rogers barely saw his son. I would wish desperately that my relationship with Kenny Jr. were better, he said in an interview in 1980. In a 1982 interview when Carole was 23 and Kenny Jr. was 17, Rogers said, "As you try to get ahead, it's too easy to think that these kids are still going to be kids tomorrow.